I've had my first request video, so today's video is going to be targeted just towards what Layla needs. Good morning, Layla. We're going to do a basic video on what addition truly means. I think a lot of times students get going into addition and they learn, well, I put this number here and this number here and this number here, and they never truly understand what they're doing. So we're going to take some time, make sure you truly understand what you're doing before we move in to my little magic tricks and all my hints that are going to make this easy peasy and make you a professional mathematician. So what addition is it's taking two parts, putting them together to make a whole. Okay? All you're doing is taking two groups, smushing those groups together to make a bigger group. So if I have 3 crayons in one part, and I have 2 crayons in the other part, when we add them together, we're moving them both here, where they're all in the same house. My kids like to think of it as, this is where 2 lives, this is where 3 lives, and this is their playhouse down the street. You've got to make sure that they can both get to the playhouse by those roads. So they come to the house, they play together, but then they can go back. So if these are my parts, they go here. I have 3 plus 2. You move them together and then you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 friends come together with the 3 friends in the playhouse. And there's 5 friends all together. Doesn't have to be crayons. It can be absolutely anything. Moms and dads, I think a lot of times we get caught up on what the materials are, and you feel like you have to go out and buy linking cubes and counters and things like that. You by no means do. I grabbed crayons out of my extra crayon box. You can use Cheerios. You can use literally anything you have on hand. Pairs of socks. Anything that they can move around. So let's look at another one. What if this time I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Remember, these are my parts. Parts are our smaller groups. I have 5 crayons here and 2 crayons here. I want to add them together. I want to put them in one big group. So I have 5 plus 2. They want to travel down the street to get to the playhouse where they can all play together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Now, let's talk about our symbols. It's hard to show because I have to hold my phone. Bear with me a minute. Okay, you have your 2 groups. Okay, 1 group, 2 groups. When you bring them together, ooh, that's a terrible angle. They make a plus sign. Okay, so think about it that way. You have 2 lines that come together to make your plus sign. That's how you can remember that the plus sign, this little symbol right here, is bringing your 2 groups together to make one new group, just like those 2 lines come together to make one symbol. So this means smush the groups together. Whatever numbers are next to it are your parts. Now then there's this silly thing over here. This is an equal sign. Whatever is on the other side of the equal sign is your big whole. The tricky thing is that equal sign can move. I could have the same groups, 5 crayons and 2 crayons. It's exactly what it looked like a minute ago. But what if my number sentence looks like this? The reason it's so important to understand what these silly symbols mean is because sometimes they're not in the same order. And if you don't understand what they really mean, you're going to end up with a crazy number sentence that says something like 5 equals 2 plus 7. And that's not true. So we have to think, okay, my addition symbol, sorry, I got tongue-tied, means that I need to bring these 2 parts together. Well, I know I want 2 to be one of them, and I want 5 to be one of them. Well, now I have to squish my 2 numbers together. So I'm going to bring them together and then count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I've got 7 again. Well, 7 is my, what was that word we called it? My whole. Sorry for the jingling. I have bells in my hair. My 7 is my whole, and I know that my whole has to be next to my equal sign. 7 equals 5 plus 2. It means the exact same thing. Moms and dads, this is where I think sometimes we get frustrated because when we were in first grade, we didn't do stuff like this. We didn't start moving the equal sign until we were way older. But teaching them now what the equal sign truly means and that it can move around makes it a lot easier later on. So let's do one more, and then we'll stop with the basics for today. Just going to grab some crayons. So we know we want the house for my part, come together. That's going to be the playhouse where my hole lives. Just like my equal sign, my number bond can move all around. That's why you have to make sure that both of the parts can get to the playhouse down the street. Make sure that they can travel on those streets and get there. So what if I have, let's do 3 live in this house and 6 live in this house. Those are my parts. My parts live here. They can travel down the road and get to the hole all together. So it doesn't matter where my equal sign is. Gotta make it where you can see it. Okay, so let's count my parts. I have 1, 2, 3. I have to make sure that my parts are next to my plus sign, because that plus sign is what shows that those two groups need to be smushed together. So 3 needs to go near my plus sign. Let's count my other group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my other group that needs to be next to the plus sign is 6. So I want to go ahead and plug my parts in here to show you that they work the same way. So 3 and 6 are my parts. They need to be next to the plus sign. So I have 3 and 6. Now all I need to do for either of these addition sentences is find my hole. Let's go ahead and make my hole. So each of my groups travel down the street to the playhouse where they can all play together. My hole is my big group after I put them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, that's a big hole this time. So my hole this time is 9. Now, let's think about it. When I write my hole, we remember that it needs to be next to which of our symbols? Right, it needs to be next to the equal sign. It needs to be next to the equal sign. So, I don't remember what my hole was. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my 9 goes next to the equal sign. When my two parts come together, they equal 9. Now down here, where does my hole need to go here? Do you remember? It has to go near the equal sign. 3 smushed together with 6 gives me a group of 9. Now, moms and dads, have your child try some. Let's just do some pretty easy ones. Let's do 7 plus 1. They can draw a picture if they want to show the groups coming together, but I recommend you do something with the number bond. Give them something real to hold on to build in the two parts and put together with the whole. We'll talk about pictures in our next video. Right now, I highly, highly, highly recommend you give them something that they can hold in their hand to see the way they move. So let's do a number bond with 7 plus 1. Let's do a number bond of 4 plus 2. And let's do a number bond of 5 plus 3. Try these, see how they go. Let me know if there's anything else in this video that you need repeated. And watch for video number 2. If they do really well on these, we'll move to drawing pictures. Boys and girls, if you're doing this and you're frustrated because you think this is too easy, don't worry, it'll get harder. But it also will get to where you know better and it doesn't take as long, where you don't need something to hold. But you got to go through the steps. Do this first. Bear with me, and I promise we'll get there. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and watch for video 2.